I'm gonna wait another minute here. Just give everybody a chance to arrive. It's 1, 2, there's 10 for you. 4 in this class. $17, 16 today. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Let's put this away. I should turn that off. All right, I guess we should get started. Most of you are here, which is good to see. You are all certainly welcome to turn on your video. You are not required to. I would love to see your faces if you felt like being on video, but totally get if you don't want to be. What else? So, welcome to CoStats 13. I'm going to try to talk less. This is the last of my first of my co-classes. I've taught all my other co-classes in my 4th one. And I've definitely noticed my voice is starting to get tired, which is why I'm drinking some tea. Out of my Gaston mug. Got it from Disneyland. It's pretty great. Or did I get it from Disney World? I think I got it from Disney World. But yeah, it's a nice mug. I like it a lot. And but yeah, my voice, I can hear myself starting to get a little bit hoarse, which is not great for me or everybody who wants to be in my class. So I'm going to try and ask you guys questions in general, maybe not so much today because it's kind of an intro day. And hopefully, I would like all of you to talk. You're certainly welcome to use the chat. Chat is great. But I would also love for you to actually use your voices as well and chime in, and that will help me talk less. Again, you don't have to, it's not required, but if you could, it would make the class better and hopefully extend my voice and save it. So let's talk about Zoom a little bit and make sure everyone knows how to use all the things. And then maybe I'll ask you guys some questions about material. So first of all, everybody should look at the bottom of their Zoom. I'm sure this is not the first Zoom class you've been in, but let's go ahead and take a look just so you know how to do the things. You can obviously unmute yourself if you want to talk. If you want to talk, you need to unmute yourself. You can stop your video or start it. Like if I stop mine, you can see my fun picture that the student drew of me. I live in Colorado. You can start my video again. You can also go to your video settings, which is the little up arrow next to it, and do all sorts of things. You can have a cool virtual background, which I will not be using, but if you wanted to use, it's the Aurora Borealis. Apparently Weezer also released some virtual backgrounds people can use. For those of you that don't know, Weezer is a band. They're for old folks like me. And yeah. You can also mirror your video, which I like to do sometimes because then I look like myself, but then my writing looks all backwards, so I don't usually like to mirror my video. What else? So going from left to right along the bottom here, you can click on Manage Participants, and if you do that, this little thing will come up on the right-hand side above the chat if you have the chat open. You'll see, I don't know what you see actually, and unfortunately screen sharing has been disabled for the students, so I don't think you can. I actually have yet to figure out how to share my screen. I imagine you guys can't. Can you see my screen right now? Anybody? Anybody? Yes? No?
Yeah, so. We can.
No, okay, that's what I thought. Maybe I'm gonna see what happens if I do this. Let's see. Open systems preferences. I have okay. Maybe I'll try and do that later. I don't really need to share my screen right now, but I was trying to see if it worked. I think I have to do change some preferences, but maybe I'll figure out how to do yours later. I see Shelby's name all big. Why is that? You can
Don't
see
ask
my screen?
No.
Shelby, are you sharing your screen?
No, can you hear me?
Or is it because is my volume not on? Are you
It's
talking?
on. Yeah, can you hear me?
I think I wasn't getting the audio.
Oh.
That's why you're big. Okay. One thing you might want to do when I start actually talking about math stuff is you might want to pin my video. So if you hover over my video and hit the little dots and then click on pin video, it'll make me the one that's always the big one that's main. Not necessarily in general, but I need to keep myself pinned so that when I start writing math stuff, when you look at the video later, you don't see like 16 things, you just see my video. Because I accidentally didn't do that on the first one, it looked very small. All right, so what else with Zoom here, just to make sure we're all on the same page? There's polling, which I can see. I might ask you guys to poll, but I think we need to make the questions ahead of time. There's screen sharing, which we can't do right now. There's the chat, which if you don't have the chat enabled, I feel like you should because people like to write questions there. And then before we get to the reactions, in the reactions, you can do a hand clapping, you can do a thumbs up, which is great. But what I want to go actually look back at is the manage participants area. So if you look at manage participants, there should be some options to say yes or no, or go slower, or go faster, or raise my hand. Or there's a little more thing where you can do thumbs up, thumbs down, hand clapping, need a break, or away. So I'd like you all to go click on the more thing and click on the thumbs down just to make sure that you all can see where that is. So everybody could give me a big thumbs down. I see some of you getting there. 4 out of 15. Nobody else wants to do it? Isla or Brian or Destiny or Francesca. Oh, Francesca did, sorry. Or Getty or Jimena or Joey, Kimberly, Lysilma? I'm not sure how to say your name. Or Victoria. Anyway, the only reason I want you to do that is just so you can see where it is. I don't imagine that you'll use those feedback reactions much, but you might. I could ask you all a question like, yes or no, did you watch the first lecture yet? And you guys could click on yes, or you could click on no. In fact, why didn't you do that? Did you guys watch? Well, I should say, I don't know if, I haven't heard anything from Nemdari. For those of you in Whitener's class, have you watched the first video? Click yes or no. If you're not in Whitener's class, just click no. So if you can't find it, go to the bottom of your video. It's the manage participants thing, which has like a little 2 people and it has 15. And then if you click on it, you should see a green yes, a red no. I would really, really like everybody to do it so that everybody knows where it is. So we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait for the last few people here. Victoria, Destiny, Bryant. Sorry, I'm gonna butcher your names if you want me to say your name right, because I said it wrong. You can unmute yourself and speak up. Oh, good. It looks like everybody is there. Great. Thank you so much. All right. So, and then I think that's it as far as all of the Zoom options you have. What else did I want to say? Okay. Oh, so sorry. Is it Bryant? Like Kobe Bryant? I don't remember what I said. Okay, cool. Not to bring up any bad feelings about Kobe. Sorry, I didn't want to. I know it's a bummer. So, sorry for all the drinking noises, but my voice is gotta preserve the voice when we're doing a lot of talking. So again, I encourage you all to speak up if you have questions or want to say things. You're really, really welcome to chime in. You don't have to feel like you're interrupting or talking over other people. We'll get used to it, but it can be challenging. I know when we're online, so feel like you want to say something, but rest assured, I will appreciate it, and I think your classmates will too. Go ahead, Shelby. You're welcome to do that. I would appreciate it. Also, it's good to see people. Hey, good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for being brave.
Can you hear me? Can everyone
totally
hear me? Okay,
I
great.
like your background there. It looks cool.
Thank you. I'm in bed currently.
Sure. That seems like the place I would be in class if I didn't have to be in my office. So what else here? There was something else about Zoom. Oh, so just so you guys know, this video is being recorded. So if you don't want to be on video, you don't have to be. But I am going to post this video so that the class can see it. Nobody else should have access to it. So if you're worried about people seeing you on video, only your classmates will see you on video. What else? Oh, I was going to ask you guys some stuff. So for those of you in Whitener's class, she did finally add me to her Canvas, but I couldn't seem to access the textbook, which is kind of annoying. Because when I click on the link she has, I get something that says like, I'm not authorized or whatever, or there was an error. Could anyone, is there a link to the textbook that anyone could maybe post? I could try hitting that and see if I can access it.
I can try it.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second.
And then I know she said, again, so for now, if I don't hear back from Nimdari, I'm going to basically kind of follow along with Whitener's class because that's kind of what I've got. If you're in Nimdari's class, and I hope I'm saying his name correctly, and you want me to kind of adhere or look at what he's doing as well, you are welcome to email me any class material from him or any video links or links to if he's doing like a YouTube kind of thing. Just let me know. I'm sorry to put the onus on you to have to do that, but he hasn't gotten back to me, which is unfortunate. So let's see. What else do I want to say here? So we have 50 minutes from 11 to 11:50. I know that Whitener has, I think she said before class tomorrow, you're supposed to read like sections. I don't remember what sections she said to read. She said to read the first few sections. And has anyone done that? No. I mean, I might not really have either. Just unit 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I was gonna read, but couldn't access the textbook.
You have to, there's a very specific like portion. It's called like OLI-CMU, and then when I just try to open it, I have to like type in my name and email address and all of that in order to like get onto it.
Okay, I'll probably just have to talk to her and get access to it that way. So I don't know what Unit 1 covers because I haven't read it yet. So I don't really. So my problem is that I haven't taught this class before. And while I did actually take this class many, many years ago when I was a student at UC Davis, it's been a while and I don't remember exactly how the material goes. So I don't really have anything material-wise planned for today, which is fine. We don't have to do anything the first day if we don't want to. So here's what I will do. I'm gonna, oh yeah. So sorry, there's a couple things I'm supposed to remind you about. So some more administrative stuff, and I'm gonna try and talk a little bit slower, a little quieter. A couple things. First, pass no pass grading is an option for all your classes this quarter. The chancellor sent out a message saying that you can opt to change a class to pass no pass grading or back to letter grading up until the last day of instruction, which is June 4th. So if you feel like you're going to get a grading class that will lower your GPA, I would recommend changing to pass no pass grading. If you feel like, hey, I did better in that class than I thought I would, and it's going to boost my GPA, change it back to letter grading. There was something else along with this. Oh yeah, the classes this quarter that you take pass no pass don't count towards the overall pass no pass limit that you usually would have. And there was something else. No, that was it. You might need to check with your specific major advisors, because sometimes specific majors have restrictions about what kinds of classes you're allowed to take pass no pass or not. But generally, you should be able to take just about anything pass no pass you want to, if that is something you want to do. What else? You all can, by the way, so if you select those things in the manage participants, they do stay there until you unselect them. So not that you have to unselect them, but you are welcome to unselect them if you want to. What else? I also wanted to remind you all, so obviously you're all enrolled in classes this quarter, that's why you're here. But if in the next few days you decide that this online thing is really not your jam, you can still PELP, which is the Planned Educational Leave Program. And that is something you can do if you wanted to say, I'm not going to take classes spring quarter. I mean, I know you've got a lot of other stuff going on this quarter, but if you decide that spring quarter is just not for you, I totally understand. You can PELP and get back, I think, 90% of your fees up until like, I think day 5 or day 7. And then you can get like 50% of your fees back up until day 10. So if you're kind of on the fence about this quarter and you feel like maybe I don't really want to take classes this way because some of my professors are not great at delivering content online, that is also an option to keep in mind. If you have questions about that, I did send you all an email about it way back before the course started, but I'm happy to provide that information again if you need it. Sorry, I'm trying to think about what else. So you guys have any questions about just things in general? Feel free to say them. Feel free to type them. I have to be patient, give you all a chance to ask questions if you want to. My wife would, so see, it's hard to not fill up the silence with talking, but my wife was telling me, she's been working from home for the last year. It's how we were able to move to California, that when you're working in an online setting, you have to be a little bit more patient and give people a chance to ask questions longer than they might normally need. Is there homework in this class, or is it just going to be a class to solely help with Stats 13? Well, I would say there isn't homework. So I did send out an email at the beginning of class or before, but you might not have got it if you weren't enrolled yet. Sure. That there are going to be a couple of things I need from you guys. So your class grade for this class, which is pass and pass, is based on participation and doing the weekly quizzes. So as far as, sorry, let me scroll back up here just a little bit. So to answer, I am going to have a hard time. I want to say your name right, and I'm afraid I'm going to butcher it. Kihla? Oh man, I feel like I must have butchered it. Kiha, I apologize in advance for all of your names that I will butcher. Anyway, to answer your question, sorry, actually I was answering Joey's question first. So there's no homework, but I do need you guys to participate, which can be done by attending class or by starting a discussion or studying with someone else. And the way you're going to let me know that you have participated is by filling out the weekly participation log, which you can access via Canvas. So I'm looking in Canvas right now. If you want to go look to figure out how to do things, let's go all look. And I don't know how to share my screen with you right now because it's been disabled. So you're just going to have to do it on your own and kind of follow along. Let's go look at this class's Canvas page. And let's look at what am I looking at here? Sorry, let's look at the assignments. All right, so I'm in assignments. And if you look at the participation is a word I stumble over a lot, which is unfortunate. So if you look at the participation points of week 1 and click on that, you will see a link to a Google assignment. If you click on the Google assignment, you will see that, and now you might see something slightly different than me. There should be something you can click on to actually access the Google Doc. I see a file. I'm going to click on the file. Something opens up and says, here's the file. I'm going to click on the thing. And then when you click on it, you should be able to actually fill out when you attended, things you did, if you started a discussion thread, if you studied with someone, if you did the weekly reflection, which is not required, but does get you a participation point, or if you did the weekly poll, which again is not required, but does get you a participation point. So whatever you do to earn participation points, then you're going to fill this out, and then there should be a button to submit this, and then I will get them all from you on Mondays when I want you to do this, or by Monday, I should say. And then I will tabulate your points to keep track of your grade. I envision everyone in this class passing because it's really based on just participation and then the quizzes, which we'll talk about in a second. So I'm going to close that and we go back to this. The other things you'll see in assignments are the reflection, which I just mentioned. If you click on that, you can, sorry, is it available yet? Should be. If you click on that, you should be able to, yeah, it's available. You should be able to do a reflection by filling out some text. Can we do more than 6 participation points? No, you cannot, only 6 a week. So as it says, I think somewhere on the thing, you can't get a whole bunch of points ahead of time and then coast to the end. You have to kind of participate every week. Yeah, I do have a green button that says share screen, but when I try to share my screen, it prompts me to do some stuff. So maybe, I guess I could try and do this stuff. Let's see. So I'm going to share. I'm going to open my system preferences. Maybe it's as easy as that. Zoom will not be able to record the content of your screen until it is quit. But I'm recording right now. I'm going to do it later. Okay. Maybe that worked. Let's check it out. Let's see if I can do it. Haha. All right, I guess I'm sharing my screen now. I can't see the chat anymore, so I don't know. So if someone could say,
yeah, you are.
Cool. So let's hide all the porn. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
Apparently, my wife was telling me that, I mean, obviously, the watching of pornography has increased in the United States. Pornhub is doing a lot of good things with people, but apparently a lot of pornography is also being watched during people's lunch breaks, which I thought was an interesting time. Anyway, enough about that. Sorry, I don't mean to be vulgar. Just, you know, people joke, wow, what is going on? Why am I getting weird diamonds on my screen? That seems weird. I don't know what is happening there. So let's see, I'm trying to see if the chat, there we go, awesome, the chat's back. Okay, you guys can see my chat, you can see, well, can you see my chat actually?
No.
Cool, that probably makes sense. All right, so I was addressing people's questions, so let's see. Homework in this class, no, there is no homework, but there is the participation points, and there's also the weekly quiz, which is not the quiz you see, oh no, it is, yeah, that is the quiz, sorry. So to do the quiz, you're going to click on this and then you will load the quiz in the new window and it will take you to Gradescope. And then in Gradescope, you will click on the quiz 1. And then it will open the quiz. And if you look at this, it's just going to show you a placeholder quiz for now because I haven't written the quiz yet. As far as the quiz goes, the way I'm going to have you do it, so it's going to be available on Monday at 7 a.m. until midnight. And the way you're going to do the quiz is by, you can print it out if you have access to a printer. I don't imagine that's true for most people, although I don't really know. So you're welcome to print it out. You're also welcome to just write on a piece of paper answers to the questions. And then you'll submit it by either scanning it if you have a scanner, taking a picture with your phone, or using one of the many scanning apps, which I will take a look at later today and post about. There's something called Cam Scanner, there's something called iScanner, there's something called Scannable, there's something called Genius Scan. So I'm gonna look at Scam, I said Scam, Genius Scan. I'm gonna look at all of those and kind of see if they're good or not and provide links to that so you can hopefully that'll make it easier to scan your document as opposed to just trying to take a picture, which doesn't always turn out great.
I
So
have
you
a
will
question.
scan those in some way and upload them to Gradescope, and then I will grade them all. So the way I'm going to grade them is I'm going to give everyone full credit for doing it, but I'm actually going to provide comments on Canvas so that you can actually get feedback about your understanding of the material. But if you do the quiz, you get full credit. Let me look at these other chat questions.
I have a question, James.
Sure.
So technically, we don't have to attend the classes. Like if we miss like Thursday's class, the quizzes and the reflections and the things like that are a way for us to make up those 3 points.
Totally.
Is that correct?
You can get all the points by attending the classes. In fact, you can get all the points by just attending the classes. But if you can't attend the classes, you can get points other ways. Now, I do feel like that puts people who can't attend the classes at a slight disadvantage. And if it turns out that it's hard to get all the participation points because you're not able to attend the classes because you have other things, then we will look at modifying that to be more reasonable. Also, I'm going to post the classes on YouTube, as I mentioned earlier. So if that becomes like, maybe I'll just say if you watch it on YouTube, that's also fine. And I will just have to trust that everyone's being honest. I mean, again, it's a 1-unit workload class. If everybody passed it and some people passed it because they shouldn't have, it wouldn't really be the end of the world. So I'm not too worried about the grading. I really just want to kind of keep you all engaged with the class and material. Let me look at these other chat things. So weekly quizzes, when will they be due? So they're due on Monday by midnight, or I think 11:59. One thing, Canvas says one thing. I think Canvas says 11:59, and I think Gradescope says midnight. It's essentially the same. Do I happen to know if passing and pass with this course will impact your GPA? This course does not affect your GPA. It's pass, no pass, doesn't matter. In fact, I think if you don't pass it, it doesn't really matter at all. It might show up on your transcript, but since it's a workload class, it might not. The reflections are optional. Everything is optional except for the quizzes and the weekly participation points. So you can get your participation points in whatever way you want. Oh yeah, the Notes app is also a way to scan your quizzes. I'm going to look at all these things so that I can figure out which way I'm going to scan stuff because I don't have a scanner either. That's not true. I have this document camera over here, which I can kind of use to take pictures and scan things. So we'll see about that. Although the resolution, not excellent. I'll show you guys in a minute. Let's see, what else are we looking at here? That. What else? So back to Canvas. Back to assignments. So we got the reflection, we got the participation points, which, oh yeah, so if you didn't see my screen, so let's go through this one more time. So you click on this, then you'll click on this, and then it'll take you to, I'm not sure it'll take you to exactly this because this is what I see, but if it does this, you'll click on the file, and this is definitely gonna look different for you because here I can edit this and you shouldn't, well, that's not true, you should be able to write like, I got 3 points to being on class on Tuesday, and I got 3 points for being in class on Thursday, and I felt great, pretty good about being in class. So yeah, that kind of stuff. That's about how I feel about Stat 13, not about co-stats. I'm sure all of you feel this way about being in this class. We feel awesome about being in this class. Anyway, and then there will be a button to submit it, and you need to click that button to submit it.
I have another question.
Go for
it. So on our screen, when we do it, when we click on it and open it up, I think it makes a copy for each of us. Is that correct? Okay, so then like no one else can see what we put on ours.
Everyone
and then we
an individual copy.
Okay.
So if we attend the co-class twice a week, we will reach 6 weeks, then we can only follow the lines. So you can fill out whatever you want for the participation points. You're just going to get a maximum of 6. You are welcome and encouraged to do other things like start a discussion thread or study with someone else or do the reflection. Because if you get the reflection, it also gives me an idea of how you're feeling about the class in general or what's going on in the class. So if you want to do other things, perfectly fine. The reason for not giving you more than 6 points a week is just so that you continue to participate throughout the quarter. But yeah, you can get those points however you want to. That's fine with me. What else do we want to look at on Canvas here? If you haven't yet, I would really appreciate everyone telling me what class they're in by going to the whose class thing are you in, which I'm going to somehow click on here, and then commenting with who your teacher is, Whitener or Nimdari. If you don't want everyone to know, I mean, that's fine. You can just email them to me as well. It's perfectly good. What else? The modules. And the modules, we've got a couple things so far. I'm going to add another module about the class videos, between different videos on YouTube. I am going to make so if you have things you want me to talk about on video, the plan, my plan at least for all my classes, is to, after class today, make 2 or 3 or 4, 5 to 10 minute videos covering material. Since I don't really know what material you guys have talked about or have read about it, because I don't have access to the book, if you have things you want me to talk about, that would be excellent. So you can either email me those, or again, if you want to start a discussion, it would also be worth a participation point. And then you could say, hey, James, here's a discussion. I want you to talk about whatever. That would be perfectly fine. And you can start a discussion by, I think you can do it by clicking this little thing here and being like, hey, what should James video today? And then write down the topic. Short video about. And you can save and publish that. I believe everyone has the option to do that. If that's not the case, that's weird because I'm pretty sure it is. What else? Also, so the quizzes are not where the quizzes are. The quizzes are where the polls are. So the poll is the other way you can earn a weekly point as well. And you just click on it. This first poll is super easy. It's nothing. It's just like I don't remember what it was. How are you accessing course content using a phone, laptop, desktop, tablet, etc. You know someone else in the class you can study with. This is so you can do that if you want to, not required. I think that's about it as far as Canvas goes. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but if I need to again, I will. There we go. Cool. Someone else asked, can I recommend tips for students to be successful in Stats 13 if they've never taken stats before? So I think with most classes, a typical good tip is to make sure you keep up to date with the material. So definitely, do the assignments your professor is assigning, read the stuff that your professor is asking you to read. That's the thing I would say to start with. Making sure you are comfortable with your algebra skills is also a place, because stats doesn't really have, I mean, there's obviously a lot of math in stats, but it's all algebra. It's all arithmetic, multiplying, dividing, adding, subtracting, solving equations, that kind of stuff. You're just not going to get, there's not going to be really any calculus involved. I mean, it's not entirely true. There's definitely some integral stuff that's related to stats, but they don't ask you about that in stats. If you took 16B, you definitely saw some stats at the end of that course, but if you didn't, you're fine. That's what I've got for now, is try to stay up to date with the material that is happening. But yeah, I mean, most people have never taken stats before. This is usually a lot of people's first stats class. My tea is gone. All right. Other questions? So Gradescope is used for, so Gradescope is pretty cool actually. It allows me to grade all of your quizzes or in general other things. Like when I was teaching pre-16 last quarter, when I gave a midterm exam, I would then scan all the midterms and they would be all there, so I could just grade them online as opposed to having to write on them. It really makes it faster for me to grade things. Your grades on Gradescope will, yes, they do sync with Canvas. So in a more normal class, I would actually like grade the quiz and give you like 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 points. That would translate over to Canvas. For this class, as long as you've done the quiz, you're going to get a 10 out of 10 or whatever the number is. So that'll transfer over to Canvas and your grades will be there. It's pretty convenient. And it also is a pretty easy way for me to comment on your quiz and give you feedback without having to like actually write on it, which is great in the best of times. And right now, without the ability to kind of hand things back to people in person, it's a really excellent option to have. There's not co-class in the summer. I don't think there's ever co-class in the summer, which is unfortunate, but true. I mean, I guess that could be different this summer depending on how summer session is looking, but it's usually not our intention. We do have office hours over the summer, which I imagine if we're not doing co-classes, we certainly will be having office hours. That might look a little different than as in the past. So in the past, we've had office hours. We've just been in the drop-in room during the summer for the most part. I imagine this summer, if we're not back to life as normal, it might look more like having individual online appointments. Also makes you think of, there was a thing in Canvas. If you look at, where did you go? Canvas, where did you go? There you are. If you look at the homepage or the syllabus, same difference. If you look at kind of the bottom before you get to all the course summary stuff, there is a link to the drop-in tutoring appointments. Those aren't available yet, but they will be starting, I think Sarah said April 8th. And what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to click on that. Yeah, so you will eventually be able to click on the thing that will allow you to schedule a tutoring session with a student tutor. Currently, the specialists, myself, Grant, Sarah, etc., well, Sarah's an exception. Sarah is the boss, and she has more availability to do appointments. But currently, the specialists, we're not scheduling office hours or appointments with students because we're trying to see kind of what our capacity is to do all the stuff we need to do. But if it turns out that we do have capacity to see students on an individual basis, then I will certainly let you know. I'm not envisioning that happening, to be perfectly honest, because I feel like doing this stuff is taking up most of the workday to get it all done. But if that is different, I will certainly let you guys know. And I will always respond to an email question. So if you have a question about something and you can't get a hold of me in what would be a more normal office hours kind of way, I do respond to email. That said, don't flood my email inbox. I don't get too many emails, fortunately, but that could change with everything being online. Speaking of email, okay, I see. Let's see, what else? I think that's it. All right. I feel like there was something else that just crossed my mind, but I can't remember what it was. So I don't think I have anything else to say today, which is good. My voice is tired. I'm gonna have to work on that. I've got some lozenges. Hopefully that'll help. And you guys talking more will help me talk less. I will post this on YouTube and link to Canvas after we are done. So I know we have still 10 minutes of class left. Are there other questions before I maybe end things early? Oh, you can't see I'm twiddling my thumbs. What will the layout of these sessions be like on most days? Okay, that's a fair question. I think in the beginning, it's going to look like me saying, what kind of questions do you guys have? What do you want me to talk about? And my plan is to certainly stay current with the course material, watch the lectures for Whitener's class, since I don't have access to Mindari's class. But for Whitener's class, and hopefully, I mean, the material should be pretty similar, right? It's Stats 13. It's not like something crazy. So my plan is to be current with the material, know what's happening in your class, and be ready to answer questions you have about it. But it is going to kind of require, at least the beginning, for you guys to come with questions. I will certainly try to think about, we can do this kind of example, this kind of example. I can look and see what kind of homework you're being assigned, hopefully, and try to come up with similar problems that aren't exactly like your homework problems. But I think, at least in the beginning, that's what it's going to be like. As we move on, it might become more like me thinking of content and just presenting it. But it's not my plan, at least for the start. I do plan on, again, making short videos for you that you guys can watch on your own whenever, with examples, so that after, so like today, if you've been like, James, I want to talk about this or that, later on, I'm going to make up some similar examples to give you a video you can watch later, because I think that's easy to digest. This class obviously is, it's a normal length class, but it gets kind of long, right? I'm sure this video is not the most exciting thing to watch, and there might be other things that you are also watching. Whereas if I make something that's 5 minutes or 10 minutes long, that's pretty easy to stay focused for the whole time. So that's kind of what I want the plan to be. Yes, I would love to see Mindari's handout. Please do email that to me, Kimberly. I would appreciate it. Other questions? Someone asked me privately if I could be any superhero, who would you be? That's a good question. I mean, Iron Man's pretty cool. I would probably, off the top of my head, I feel like there's a better answer for me, but I'm gonna have to go with Iron Man. It's pretty great and acted very well. Anyone else want to chime in? He is dead. He did sacrifice for the good of the world. It was a moving moment. I definitely got a little teary at the end of that movie. Oh yeah, yes, yeah. But should have had a spoiler alert there. Hopefully, if you hadn't seen it already, then you already knew that. We can talk about movies. What kind of, anyone seen any? Doctor Strange, yeah. He feels a little more cerebral than I would like to imagine that I am, but our own perceptions of ourselves are not what everyone else sees. Anyone seen any good movies lately? Actually, so as much as I would love to talk about movies, I think Francesca's question is good to address. So, and that's actually, so let's see. So Francesca asked about Calculator. And normally for this class, if you were having to use a calculator on a test, you'd probably use something like this. You can't see that very well. Something like this, the TI-36X Pro, or something similar. Something that has a stats kind of function on it. So that's what I would use, and we'll definitely talk about how to use a calculator like this, because sometimes you have to calculate things like mean or variance or standard deviation, and it's a it's a straightforward calculation, but it's a time-consuming and very easy to make a mistake. I think Whitener said that you didn't need to have a graphing calculator, but I mean, I don't know how she would prevent you from using a graphing calculator if you wanted to. That said, a graphing calculator or a calculator like this has the stats functionality you want. But I also imagine there's probably other, like there might be online calculators that you could also use with statistics functionality. So I don't know the answer to your question, Brian, if you're allowed to use a graphing calculator. You certainly don't really need the graphing capability for this course, but I understand that if you have a graphing calculator, it might also have the stats capability that you want to use. So I would say you should probably check with your professor to see if it's allowed. Again, I don't know exactly how they would prevent you from using a graphing calculator, but well, especially because I think she said she wasn't going to use anything like ProctorU or anything like that. So just make sure it's kosher with your teacher. But yeah, we will talk about calculator use, how to kind of enter data so that you can calculate things like standard deviation and mean and mode and median, all that good stuff. But yeah, I'll also search for an online device, because since we are all going to be sitting at our computers, while you can certainly use a calculator to enter stuff, it can still be a little bit tedious to enter, a data set of 10 or 20 things and then try and calculate the mean or the median. And when I say mean, I mean average, right? Mean is another word for average. So yeah, I will do that. That's definitely on my list of things to do. But I would say, if you want a specific calculator recommendation, I think this TI-36X Pro works just fine. And I do like the screen because it kind of allows you to type in a bunch of stuff and it looks kind of right. I also have this Texas Instruments. What is this one here? This is a BA2 Plus. This is a Business Analyst Calculator. This calculator is less good in my opinion. Yeah, I don't love this one as much. And although it does have the statistics functionality, no, it's a different stat. It's no, you don't. I would not recommend this calculator for statistics. It's not going to do the things you want to do, I don't think. Yeah, it's definitely for like business. You don't want this one. Not my favorite. Other stuff in the last 3 minutes we have of class. All right, for real. Anyone seen any good movies lately? I watched, what's that movie I watched yesterday? Oh yeah, definitely. We watched some Tiger King. 6 Underground, haven't heard of that one. Invisible Man was good. It looked kind of, I don't know. I don't go into the scary stuff usually. Or the Platform, 1917. Yeah, sure. All right. Parasite was really good, although I feel like, no, it was really good. Even with what's going on in the world today, it just, I feel like watching a movie about, well, I don't want to give away anything. It was good. Quiet Place 2, sure. I watched the Hollywood one yesterday or the day before. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was all right. Well, sure, Shawshank is great. Yeah. What else? I don't know. Oh, you know what I want to see, which comes out on Disney Plus, I think tomorrow, is the Onward movie from Pixar. That looked like it would be enjoyable. Spencer Confidential. Okay. You know what's really good, although definitely, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. More IP Man 4. I don't know what that is. Is Fleabag. Very good, although certainly a little, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Racy. That feels like such an old thing to say. There is some nudity and some swearing in Fleabag, but it's a very good show. Very well acted, very well written. I highly recommend it if you have access to it and want to watch such a thing. All right, I think we've done it for today. So here's what I want you guys to do. If there are things you want me to talk about, send me an email or start a discussion on Canvas and let me know. And I will try to make that happen today and then post those videos up today. If you have any other questions, you're welcome to email me. But yeah, I will. My Fitbit's telling me I need to move. I'm gonna go do some push-ups after this class is over. So if you have things you have questions about or think the class should know about, let me know. I will try to, I'll try to address the calculator question, and there was something else. Oh, and this different ways to scan documents. I got to look at both of those things. So let me just write that down. Big calculator and scanning documents. I'll figure that out and see. And you can obviously do whatever you want as far as scanning documents. I'll try and recommend something that seems like it works well for me. Maybe, well, it might work well for my iPhone. It might not work well if you don't have an iPhone. So use whatever you want as long as it works for you. All right, I'm going to sign off. I want everyone on Thursday to come to class Thursday with a willingness to say at least a few words over Canvas. You don't have to be on video necessarily, but I do want everyone to take a shot at unmuting themselves and saying some stuff so that I talk less, because my voice, I can feel it going. All right, take care, everybody. I'm going to end the meeting, and I'll talk to you all later. And I'll post the video on the interwebs. Bye. Bye for real.